Hi there, I'm James Osborne, the co-founder of the Recruitment Network, and this is the TRN Podcast. Every week, we unpack the strategies, the technologies, the processes and mindsets fueling today's top-performing recruitment agencies. We take a look behind the scenes of some great recruitment businesses. We listen to the real-life stories of those who have built those businesses, and we learn from some of the industry's greatest thought leaders to help you become both future fit and future relevant. So let's begin with this next episode of the TRM Podcast. Matt Wragg, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. You've got a fascinating story, I think.
Maybe.
Well, we'll find out.
Maybe not.
I was told it was a fascinating story. That's why we brought you on.
You've been missold.
Don't let me down right now. But obviously, you're one of the very few people who's literally come into recruitment and literally stayed all the way through to the end, stayed pretty much in one place the whole way through. But, it's a real sort of, start at the bottom, work your way out to the top type journey. I'd love to hear more about it, because I think there'll be people listening in here today going, actually, is recruitment a career of choice and that type of stuff, and you've chosen it. So tell us how you got into it. How do you go? Where have you been? What's been going on?
Yeah, I love the fact you said from beginning to end, and it is.
Sorry, I've got some bad news for you.
No, when the chairman offered me this job, he was like, "You sure you want it? It will be the last job you have at this business."
Right.
Which
Okay.
Gave me a lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling about it. But none of us grew up wanting or thinking about being a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
I had a real lucky path. I studied architecture, and the family had a big engineering business, and it was, you're going to do one of those. I was pretty shit at the former, and I loved my dad, but would have killed him if I'd followed the family business. So ended up joining what was Matchmaker back then, but didn't want to do it. Didn't think I'd be there for very long. But also had a real chip on my shoulder that actually I needed to prove my dad wrong. And actually, if I look back at it, it's one of the guys who works for me that says this is a really shit job, but it's a really amazing career. Right. And I think in those first 2 years, when you don't know what you're doing and you're getting to understand it, it can be a really hard job. It's hard graft. But I had that lovely chip of, but I can't bail. I've got to prove to mum and dad that this was the right thing. And as a young man, that was a real motivator. But I also got lucky. I didn't really love the job instantly, but the environment was great. We had something pretty special going on down on the South Coast. Matchmaker and Matchtech was one of the first big sites. So I kind of walked in as maybe 40, 50 of us, and 20 odd years ago that was quite unusual. That quickly got to about 200. That was really unusual to have 200, I'll say, confident salespeople all in the same, but you just found your best mates. You found cultural alignment, you found competition, you found great tooling, and really never looked back. And I think actually, because I had the family business background, and I worked in the company from when I was like 7 years old, so I finished football, go and sweep up some swarf type stuff. I've always looked at wherever you are, be really super accountable, act like a business owner. And I think I probably pissed off quite a few people early on in my career by probably talking like some little upstart who talked, but it was just, for me, that was normal. It's just the way you thought about business. And that just kept me going, I suppose. And those, I talk a lot about, I think I've made myself redundant about 10, 12 times in the business of, I love building stuff. I'm a builder, I'm a creator, but I also know what I'm really crap at. And I have proven, I think over the years, pretty lucky at finding great people to come in and take on what I'd started and make it even better. I've had 12, 13 different jobs. This will be the last one in a group that I truly love. I think it's a really great place. We've got great people. We've made some massive mistakes, and we've had some massive successes as well over that time.
And you're, just for people who don't know, and there aren't many people who don't know you guys, Gattaca and Matchtech, etc. But what are the industries that you serve? What sort of the products that you take to market?
We're STEM focused and have been for about 30 years now. Matchtech was always very big in the engineering market and really broadened out into the tech space organically and inorganically. About 20 odd years ago, we started on that kind of product evolution. So going from a recruiter by being really close to customers, we love a pat on the back. We like that single throat to choke type mindset. We want to be that partner. About 20 odd years ago, customers were just asking us, can you do more? Can you put in some tech? Can you build a VMS? And we accidentally became a solutions company, and then we spun that out as Gattaca Solutions 10, 12 years ago. And then probably about 10 years ago, one of those now overnight successes, customers were also saying, well, you're really good at the talent, can you take on the project management? So we actually built a proper engineering consultancy business 10 years ago. That was way before IR35, and a lot of our industries kind of looked at statement of work, and it's it's some people with some small governance. We went different, went, actually, let's go and build that. And that's now become an engineering and technology consultancy business, which we call Gattaca Project. So I have big recruitment arms, really big. That's still the biggest part of the organisation.
It is.
And then solutions and projects as well, which for me just keeps me solving customer problems.
Yeah.
It's what do you want to get done?
Yeah.
How are you thinking about doing it? And let's advise you on the different ways. At the end of the day, it all comes down to really great people doing the job.
Yeah.
And we know where they are. We know how to get to them. It's how do you want to buy them? How do you want to manage them? And what sort of risk do they want to take or not want to take?
But the customers you're working with, they're big. Some of them are big businesses, right?
Yeah. Some tiny businesses.
Yeah.
Some, and that's what I like about the group. Like I really want us to be relevant. If you're a one-person business and you're looking for your most important hire you're ever going to make, number 2, you can come to our absolute specialists and go and get that real proper consultative one-time hire, all the way through to, we've run some major public sector bodies, major OEMs, thousands of hires a year, and everything in between. I like that multi-service offering. I think the win on it is being able to ebb and flow, and sometimes it's your customers want to outsource everything, and other times they want to insource everything, and that can be emotional if you think that you've got it forever. And what we try to do is just be really relevant for where they are now, and have enough offerings that we can stay at the table, continue solving their problems, and helping people go and get good opportunities at those clients.
Do you think those customers, I mean, again, it would be dependent whether they're big, small, SME, whatever, but do you think their problems are changing now? As in it's a different set of problems that they're facing?
That's the same for all of us, not just I think just everything's more complex. I think if you strip out all the noise, it always has been and always will be about find me great people that I can work with and help me solve problems. So if you take out everything, that problem hasn't changed. I don't know good people, you know good people. That networking capability is fundamental. The communication channels, the governance, the processing, the fiscal controls, the assessment, the tooling, everything is just, certainly from when I started in my career, my founder George is still our biggest shareholder and will give me grief about why can't I get the business back to the levels of conversion that he used to have. And it has just become more complicated, not just in its processes and governance, but in the people we hire, the tools we've got to use. So, but if you strip all that noise back, it is just, I need to build a great business with people. Maybe not the same type of people, not the same volume of people, but it's still knowing great people and how you kind of get them to work together.
That comes across a lot, and when you look at some of the stuff you've done on social media that you talk about and everything else. There's that real piece around people and purpose and that type of stuff. That's not. This is going to sound terrible, actually. That's not the first thing I would think about when I think of someone who runs a business like Gattaca. It's just like, oh, they're all lovely people and very purpose driven. I'd imagine you're some nasty, horrible bloke that just beats people up with a whip.
I might be. I don't know. I may well
find out.
Yeah.
But just talk to me why. I mean, let's start with the people piece, and we'll go into the purpose piece. But why do you think that is such a fundamentally important part of running a business like yours? Because it's, I mean, how many headcount you got now in total?
We're about 400. 400. It's not massive.
No, but it's a sizable business though. It's a sizable business. So, what do you do to make you such a people-focused business?
Best bit of advice when I got this job was just be yourself. You can't trip yourself up if you're being authentic. So I've really just stuck to my instincts. Equally, and I'm really vocal about it, we went through some pretty crappy years as a business. Like, we've made some great decisions. We've grown really successfully. We also shrunk a lot. I think we peaked almost at 1,000 people and almost £1 billion. So that's quite a decline from where it was. But I think along the way we also lost our identity, and we lost the feeling I had as a junior in the business and that connectivity to everybody. And I was really, really keen. And my sister's a very smart psychologist, so we always get into big, fat people conversations. That sounds wrong. Big, deep people conversations. And actually, for me, I always look and go, well, why would I join? Why would I stay? How would I want to be treated? And I live on that really nice edge of paranoia of I'm constantly thinking, what mistakes have I made? I was a kid at school that if someone else broke the window, I'd feel guilty. So my mindset goes that way. So we just tried to be very authentic. I think in part because we'd gone super corporate. Like we had, I think being a PLC had for a period of time, and I can't be hypocritical, I was in the senior leadership team, it had become the thing. We're a PLC. And it should have been something of pride, but it became too much.
Right.
And fundamentally, we are a people business that helps people to work with people. I think we lost sight of that. And we were of a scale that we could cope with losing sight of it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't as fun. It wasn't as career developing. And I talk a lot about wanting people to be in my business for a career, not a job.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be in it for a career every day, but actually that's what I want. I want to be able to coach and develop them into being super successful. And if you're not thinking about the people and you're just thinking about money, then that's really difficult. And I tell all my shareholders, which I'm not sure whether I should, but I'm very clear with them. My number one is my colleagues. That's my staff, my number one stakeholders. My clients and candidates come in that order, only purely because if I don't have clients, I haven't got opportunities for my candidates. And my shareholders are fourth, and they're a long way fourth, because if the other three are happy, they're going to be happy. So I think it's just about, how do you want to be judged? What stories do you want to be told about you? Mine will be about a good business which does the right thing, looks after people, and is successful because of it.
And does that align to your purpose piece?
Yeah, I think if you drew out my Ikigai, purpose has always been a big aspect. Ever since I was very young, used to do charitable events, help out. My mum always got us involved in helping out at church and the old people's home, and just that. It's a really selfish thing. Like, helping people makes me feel really good. And I used to feel guilty for doing it, because I was like, I'm only really doing a load of this because it makes me feel good. But actually, that's a natural human wiring. So purpose is big. And I think I haven't got a Simon Sinek tattoo, but I buy into a lot of how he talks and how he articulates himself. But I think if you can get that, when you haven't got a product and you are a service business and a people business, you've got to find connectivity, and it's got to be authentic and one which transpires parliaments or technology changes or economic uptimes or bad times. So actually, it's something very, very human is exactly that. I think we do a lot of good stuff, and the PLC bit is really common. Like, it's so obvious for anyone to criticise them sticks and stones and go, they're a big nasty PLC, don't go and work there, or it's just a big machine. And so many people kind of, when they walk across the threshold, and they go, actually, you guys you're not dickheads. You're really human. I don't have an office. It's the first thing I did. Got rid of all the offices. I sit out on the floor. I make sure I meet everyone day one. I meet them every birthday. I ask everyone what they do in my job. I constantly walk around pinching Percy pigs off of people. So I just want to be part of the team. I don't want to be that in the ivory towers type leader. I'm chief cheerleader, got a photograph taking the bins out the other day. It's just, we're all in it together. And that you can't fake that. It would be knackering to fake that. But we'll just be ourselves and hope it works out all right. Well,
and that's refreshing to hear, because not everyone is like that. The we were talking before, the last couple of years have been tough, or it's been really interesting. I always try and define what the last couple of years have actually been like, and tough is an obvious word to use, I suppose, but it's just dragged on a hell of a lot. I mean, it's been long. It hasn't been deep. It's just been really long, and I think that's why people look knackered. I think we're definitely seeing a shift now and a change, which is good. But all that stuff you talked about, the people stuff, the purpose stuff, etc., having fun, that's hard to do when it's tough. How do you, as a leader, sort of dissect that piece between, I want to keep the environment fun and purpose-driven and everything else, but guys, we need to get an extra 25-30% uplift in GP here, or whatever it might be. So, and that's hard, right? Because you're whipping on one side and hugging on the other side.
Hey, sometimes life's about a bit of luck. I succeeded into the role after we'd had a really pretty crap 2-3 years. So the business I picked up to then own and lead was very much one which was 500 million but hardly making any profit. There wasn't another negative direction to go on. The only way was up. Whilst everyone else was counting their money and going, wasn't that a great post-COVID boom, we missed it, which was horrendous. Like, for a business. We went through a lot of change over pre-COVID. We made a big acquisition, which there was nothing wrong with the company per se, but the integration wasn't great, the alignment wasn't great. So we were basically shutting down a lot of what that acquisition was. We were going through a global restructure. We went for a complete global tech stack restructure, 72 different platforms, whilst trying to also work out what our future operating process was going to be. And you're doing all that with IR35 coming, COVID hitting, and we're a big company for a staffing company. But actually, we're just a medium-sized business. So it was all the same leaders that should have been leading the business externally, which were having to lead the change internally. And therefore, we missed a massive market opportunity. And really that for me, I kind of look at it, and when Oliver and I took over as CEO and CFO, we had a brand new tech stack which was in and people were now used to it, so that had gone. IR35, we'd got through the changes. We had a business which was knackered from how it had felt very corporate, and wasn't necessarily being communicated with as much as it wanted to be. And its culture was there, but it was buried. It was kind of hidden. So all we had to do was unleash it. And actually, our engagement has gone up every single month over the last 3 years. And the market has gone down or stayed down every single month over the last 3 years. So at the moment, we've got record engagement. And actually, it's hard. But actually, our teams, you wouldn't feel it when you walk into offices. It feels energized, it feels positive, and we are improving every month. Now, we're not as improving as much as a CEO would ever want their business to improve, but part of that is just us learning and building that momentum, and the other part of that is, the market is just making it a little trickier to go forward. But we're going forward, and people can feel that, and they can feel they've got their business back. They can feel they've got their purpose back, and that's super empowering. If anything, it highlights how important it is that in the really tough times, what holds everyone together it is the culture, it is the environment.
And I think there's something quite special about going through a really tough time, coming out the other side together as well, because it creates that sense of resilience and that camaraderie and all that sort of good stuff. And actually, when the market starts to get better, you've got this really solid foundations that you do a lot with. And I do talk a lot about sort of the COVID period and how everyone's backs were against the wall. And actually, we made some really important decisions that we would have never made otherwise. And I think that's happened again in the last couple of years. So again, I think as we're seeing a shift in the market again, I think in a positive direction, we're starting to see better businesses grapple with those markets. That's quite exciting, I think.
I think where the market could go is super exciting. I didn't get into recruitment because I knew what it was. I actually had no idea what it was. But what I loved about those early years was how consultative you could be. How you had to really educate on what recruitment was, how it worked, solve proper problems. I think the industry has gone through a period, especially post-COVID was a boom. It was really about activity, and that was about it. It was if you sent enough, you got enough.
Hustle.
Go. And it probably lost a bit of its soul. It made a lot of money. We didn't. Others did. But actually, I think it lost a bit of its soul. And I'm really excited. I think both with the changes of how tough it's been, but also utilization of tech, customer savviness around how important it is to have a competitive advantage in your supply chain. I think we're going into another 5-10 years of it being really consultative, and that's what I love. We talk a lot about we're consultants that happen to recruit, not recruitment consultants. And that for me excites me, properly being close to a market, a skill set, a customer base to solve problems that they couldn't do. I think there will be fitter and better people and teams and businesses out there now than there were 3 years ago.
We were doing some re-strategizing sessions. I don't know what that means, actually. It sounds really good.
It sounds really good.
Great. But basically, we brought a bunch of people together and said, I think your strategy's buggered, fix it, type sessions. And part of that was basically, well, before we start with anything, let's just work out what's happening with the markets. Then we work out sort of, what are the customers within those markets, and then what products are you going to take to those markets to give them nothing more complex than that. Do you think your market supply chain is changing, and if we were sitting here in another 5 years time, 10 years time, do you think you'd be working with different types of customers because of what's happening in your markets, but also maybe offering them a different type of service?
I think equally, if you go back 5 years, it was probably different then, and 5 years before it's different then. So I think it's always got to evolve. I think for us, one of the things we've done over the last couple of years is just focus, and we've taken us from 16 different countries to really we're doing Europe and North America. We've taken ourselves from 14 sectors to 5. But within those, we've really expanded out our products. And we used to just talk about, we either recruit with solutions or projects, but actually now we've got a range of ways that we can solve problems. And it's about offering more to to fewer marketplaces, but doing more within that marketplace. And I can see that evolving. I think skills evolution as well is always, I can get very geeky on data. I think that's a really fascinating one. And actually, if you take our areas of engineering, there is a huge amount of opportunity and projects to be done. But actually, the growing needs, we historically as a group hardly did anything at what one might class a blue collar end. It was nearly all design. And actually, a huge amount of the problems at the moment are at the grey and blue collar end of the market of yeah, you can design it, but physically we just haven't got enough people to install it, maintain it, run it. So actually where is the problem in the labour force? Where's the gap? Where's the need? That is constantly moving based on projects, technology, skills, immigration, etc., etc. So yeah, what we do will have to shift. How we go about it will differ in its complexity for different types of organisations. But again, I think once we cut out all of the productization and variability of skill type of customer, it will still come back to, for us, STEM companies needing to build and deliver great things and needing people to do that.
Yeah, but you're going to require, at the same time, we all are, a lot of external influences to change and work in our favour. Otherwise, we just can't. Like this talent shortage thing, a lot of the talent shortage is not caused by anything other than, I think, governments. And if you listen to governments, listen to this. But no, governments not playing their part in building a short-term fix to a long, et cetera, et cetera, and getting people retrained and redeployed and that sort of stuff. So and putting in legislation which just makes things harder and prevents people from being able to move around and that sort of thing. So how again, because part of what we're doing these series is about is like, how do we build the business that's fit for purpose for tomorrow? But how do you go about strategizing that when you're basically up against political turmoil that you have zero control over, and you almost like trying to navigate around something that hasn't even been set up yet?
Yeah, hey, the dyslexic brain of mine loves that.
Right, okay, fine.
So that just gets me excited. If it's really complicated, I like it. Because there's always a different answer of solving it. It's just not the obvious one. I say something which always, people go, you can't say that in your role. I don't think there is a skills problem in the world.
Okay.
I just think all the wrong people are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And actually, if we could be far more efficient in how people can transfer between skill sets or industries or certifications or geographies, actually we'd be far more capable of delivering more. There's so much inefficiency. Like, look at our industry. How many people listen to this at the moment? One of many people racing to try and find one person and working for free in the process if they don't fill it. It's so inefficient. It's bonkers. But actually, we've got loads and loads of people who are really well networked, who actually, if we could organise ourselves in a better, more efficient way, people would get to market quicker, they would earn quicker, their careers would progress quicker, and clients would deliver quicker. So there's got to be a solution coming around improvement around that. But yeah, of course. I was literally chatting to someone this morning about skills transferability and how we can help speed some of that along in some very difficult areas and markets that we serve. I was at Parliament a few weeks ago and didn't really get a warm, fuzzy feeling that this government really understands our sector. I think I won't name a member of Parliament, but being compared to the fact that he knew what we did because he had a summer job post-university didn't make me feel warm and fuzzy about really understanding professional contracting. And was probably a little bit caught out when I said, look, I think we're more like PwC than that. We're ultimately finding great labour to go and solve some really complicated things. So I think we have got challenges, but if it's really easy, anyone can do it.
For sure.
And we either wouldn't have an industry or it'd be even more complicated or saturated than it is. So yeah, I think the complexity is important. I get frustrated with fragmentation. I get frustrated with inefficiency. I think one of my predecessors put me on a public body board years ago for part development, and it just taught me that I'm not very patient. So just keep yourself away from that. But within your own business, you can control your own destiny. Like, we're a big staffing company, but we're still a tiny percentage of all the opportunity in the markets that we serve. So if we're good enough, we grow. It doesn't really matter what the market does, we grow. So I think it's just being focused enough to go, how do we find every little stream of opportunity in that space? And clearly when it gets busier, that comes a bit easier and you get bigger streams of opportunity. But the rest of the time, you can go and get it.
Do you think technology, AI, automation, all the stuff that's happening at the moment, do you think that's making this whole thing more complex? Or is it actually going to help us navigate it better?
Yes, no. I've got... Right now, you catch me at a moment where I'm just AI bullshit fatigued. I'm really...
As are a lot of people.
Yeah, I just... give me the honest bit, what's it doing, not just tag it on. But if you, again, strip that out, of course, better structure. All the comments I made earlier about the skills in the wrong place, wrong time. If tooling can help unify that a bit better, then of course that's going to help with efficiency. So I think it is a big opportunity. I don't think it's an industry destroyer. I just think it's a consultative enabler. It will give us better quality insight quicker to be able to have better conversations and help people quicker than we can. That's got to be good. I would have loved all the tools that we've now got available to us 20 odd years ago when I started in this game.
Would you though? I think we've got too many tools.
Well, actually, I was doing a little bit of kind of note capturing last night in prep for this. I would love it because my dyslexic brain would like to play with all of them and see what they do. Yeah. But then I also go back and go, it was so simple. Yeah. Pick up a phone, call the people whose numbers you've got, and make the most of them. Yeah. It wasn't go and find the perfect one. It was, how do I make what I've got perfect? Yeah. And actually, that just took a lot of noise. It was, you show my age now. We had just got emails. There wasn't. There wasn't Google. It was call the people you know and see what you can do with them. Actually, that's a really focused bit. Whereas now it is far more complicated. But that comes back to the point of find the bit that works for you as an individual rather than try and do it all. And I've got some people who probably work in exactly the same way as they did 20 odd years ago. Yeah. It works for them. Yep. And I've got some people who are using the best brand new tools, but they won't do a load of the other stuff, but it works for them. And for me, it's all about finding what works for your authentic self and what is your style of how you want to engage with your community and your customers to make that great. And then double down on that rather than... But
that's hard to scale though, right? Because
it's really difficult.
Because then you're not really creating a blueprint, the Gattaca way. Yeah. You're creating, it works for them, just crack on as long as it works.
Yeah, and the Gattaca way was literally something we had in the business when I took over, which I got rid of because it tried to dictate about 90% of what people would do. And I was like, no, it's the opposite. Right. There's 10% of non-negotiables. Yeah. Some data points I really, really need to be able to manage this business. I really need to see that happening in order to have a view of where it's going. Everything else, be your personality. Yep. Now, for some, that's been really empowering, and for others, it's been a bit scary. But you have to be really clear on what are your non-negotiables or what data points you're really keen to use. But who am I to say how, I don't know, a cybersecurity analyst over here wants to be communicated with versus a new high voltage electrician over here through to a procurement specialist? They're all different individuals as well. Sure. So there is far more complexity because people are just consuming everything in lots of different ways. I just want the people in my business to be really clear on what the non-negotiables are, and we do monitor it, and that's where you can throw sticks and stones. We monitor our activity every day. It's the first thing I look at. But it's not monitoring every single aspect of it. It's just the key ones to see whether the pipeline looks all right. Then go off and build the relationships in the way that you do as an individual the best you possibly can.
So what would some of those non-negotiables be?
It's all about visibility of what's coming through. It's creating the opportunities we have, which sounds really silly. It's making sure the candidates we put across to the market, we know what's gone where. It's not you must use that product every time. It's like quite simply just show me what would have been the basic KPIs 20 odd years ago. Let me see those. Yeah. Everything else up to you. We do have a few bits around. So from a people point of view, one of the first things I did with the leaders is announce to them, again, instinctive, it wasn't pre-planned in my first town hall, that all the leaders now, a chunk of their annual reward is purely based on the engagement of their workforce. And it was a real key message to go, no, I really mean this, to the point that all of us are now only going to get paid if you guys are actually genuinely engaged in the business.
Like an internal NPS type thing.
Yeah. And we have, I use Peakon, it's a Workday product. Yeah. I love it. I don't think Mrs. Wragg loves the fact that I spend 2 in the evenings with a glass of wine replying to lots and lots of comments, but it gives me a real insight as to what's going on, and it gives everyone a chance to voice stuff. But those sorts of things are critical. Making sure we're actually delivering our promises is critical. So
if you go back to when you went through the different journeys that you've gone through with Gattaca, Matchtech, etc., there would have been a point where you thought, actually, this is the business that I've always wanted to be part of. And there would be moments where you thought, this is definitely not the business I want to be part of. Yeah. Well, how do you identify that? Because there's a lot of people, again, if I look at the market just generally, there's a lot of people questioning their future. I'm not saying they want to leave or all that sort of stuff, but there's a lot of people basically going like, I've really hustled these last couple of years, and I can feel a bit of blue sky now, but is this right for me? Is this what happens next? That type of stuff. How do you know? How do you define
that? Hey, I think I've been really fortunate. I've been there almost 24 years now. I mugged myself off by getting a photograph of everybody who's works for the company who wasn't alive when I joined, and not so long ago.
Which is
it's
the
quite a lot.
the majority of the workforce.
It was actually it's a smaller amount actually than I was expecting. But I reckon I've had about 20 days that I've woken up in 24 years and not wanting to go to work. Okay. That's a pretty astonishing hit rate. I'll take that. I don't know any friends, family, colleagues like that. That is pretty good. I think nearly all of them are about during our darker years where it was a bit of a grind. Yeah. And you do question it. I have a bit of a natural mindset, which is just look forward, don't look back, and don't dwell too much. I'm not a big worrier. And then I'm not the type of individual that if you just went, oh, there's someone who's been at a recruitment company for 24 years, I don't think I'm that stereotypical person you might imagine. Yeah. I can't sit still. I'm really ambitious. I want to do new things. I love new challenges. So you would have thought I'd had 20 different jobs. I just haven't needed to move companies. Yeah. And I think looking back at an organization now and going, we've shifted that from a single site, just did recruitment business, to a multi-service, multi-site, multi-brand organization that has amazing customers, loads of colleagues, both current ones and alumni that have gone on to do great things. Yeah. You look and go, that's awesome. Yeah. Like there's not actually many businesses that can do that over a 2-3 decade period. So for me, it's about that just, if you have a shit day, tomorrow's, it's like a bad sales call, isn't it? Yeah. You just go, it's a bad sales call. I have a good one.
Go for a good one. Yeah.
So we are going to have, and it's natural when it's tougher to go, why? We've actually hired a lot of people with a lot more experience over the last sort of 2 years. I think we've become a good business again, and people are going, actually, this is a business with lots of different services. I don't just have to talk about that one bit. I can talk about lots more. I've got fiscal stability. It's got great governance. It's got great ESG. It does lots of purposeful things. I can talk to customers about different things. And actually, for some of them, they go, oh, I'm becoming a consultative salesperson of services, not a recruiter with just a fiscal target on them. Yeah. And for me, that starts ebbing into the maturity we have, which is why I stayed so long. So I was constantly learning stuff or building stuff whilst I was learning it.
I've asked this question of most people I've been interviewing actually, which is this whole piece around the skill set that we have within the industry at the moment. Do we have enough of the right types of skills within our companies at the moment in the industry floating around, or is there a real need now for us to really retrain our people to be fit for purpose in this current market? Because it feels different now.
You'll know more from it. You've got a huge amount of members, so you'll have a better view than I will on industry. Yeah. I think as a company, one of the first things I said to the business when I took on CEO, we had become a service business, not a sales business. And what I meant from that is it proactively impacting and changing a market and being consultative. We'd fallen into that trap of just fill jobs, a massive percentage, which is how we get paid. It's important.
Yeah. So servicing what you've got.
But a massive percentage of our workforce just wanted to work a job. And I think from what I've seen from interviewing, and I'm speaking to so many business owners at the moment from an M&A point of view, I think that is true probably because in the industry, and there's a lot of people who would love to sit and look for the perfect candidate rather than make the most of what they've got. So I think that we do need more of that, and we need to look at ourselves and go, 20 odd years ago, if you came out, it was a Blair era where everybody had to go to university, but you didn't know what the hell you wanted to do with it, and you fell out. Recruitment was a really attractive proposition. Earn a load of money, do a load of cool stuff, hang out around with a load of people, drive a nice car. Cool, let's get cracking. We've got to challenge ourselves. Is that still? It's a different proposition now, but who are we trying to appeal to, and what is it that we're asking them to do? And that's why we've been really proactive on actually more experienced people, not just experience in recruitment, but people who have got different life challenges now, have got families to feed, houses to pay for, maybe didn't go into a more professional industry at the start of their career and now want that change. So I think it's just, who do you want to appeal for, and how do we skill them, and how do we retain them? Because it's a competitive landscape out there.
Do you have good retention rates within?
We do now. Again, it was pretty horrendous when we started a few years ago. Right now, we've got the best engagement we've had. Best retention we've had since about 2010. Okay, so but most companies in the UK economy have better retention now than they have done in years. So our tempo of my excitement with it's massively improved. And actually, 3 years ago, we had really, really high attrition, and there was a lot of people checking out. We had some really good people that left us. We've had, I think we're on 52 boomerangs in the last 3 years that we've brought back in, of going, we left in some dark times because you'd lost your identity. You've got your identity back. But attrition was really high, and it was people leaving us rather than us saying, you're not quite cutting it.
Yeah.
We've got much, much lower attrition now, but it's very much focused on people in that 6 months in, our earlier people that we're trying to get in, is it right for you or not? And helping them make the right decision in or out earlier. So it's much lower, and it's at the community that you want it to be at, rather than lots of seasoned pros going, what's going on? I can't be successful here.
So are you quite brutal? Brutal is probably the wrong word, but I've used whipping and brutal so far. I'm giving you a really hard rap.
Nasty PRC. Nasty PRC. I thought I'd get ambushed in some way.
No, but I mean, are you quite brutal with people in their first 3 to 6 months, so they could really, so you can really identify how they got the DNA of this?
I don't think so, actually. I say to everyone, if they've been good enough to get in, they are good enough. It's then how well can we coach them, and how well do they want to be coached? I think it is critical that people are given a chance. Like, if anything, we look maybe 6, 12, 18 months, and it's at that point. I was pretty crap, I think, in the first 12 months. I don't know why I whispered that. I was pretty crap. I worked hard, but I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was having a lot of good conversations early doors, but just wasn't able to monetize it. So other people coming in and flying to company cars in no time, going, well, I must be terrible. Actually, I think I was probably just good at the customer conversations, and it took me a little while. So everyone goes on their own path. I think we're just really clear on what it looks like. We are really explicit on how tough it is. The words I used earlier, it's a really shit job, but it's a great career. We overtly use that for the people in their first year, because they've got to come in, they've got to build relationships, they've got to build market knowledge, they've got to build candidate knowledge, they've got to build trust with their team. That's tough. But actually, once you start getting some success and getting through that becomes easier and easier and easier. So are we tough? Yeah, I have quarterly performance reviews that everybody in the whole business globally has to do. But actually, that majors on behaviours. So I'm really tough on behaviours, activity and performance, as in fiscal return. The behaviours bit that's my toughest. And we have had a lot of people who, I put that in when I started in the job. We have had people who have selected out on, does he really mean that? Oh, he does. Okay, it's not going to be the place for me. I'm cool with that. I'm really good with that, because something I often say, and it's very true, comes back to the purpose bit. When I tap out, this has got to be a business that my daughter, when she gets of a working age, if she says, Dad, I really fancy going off and working at Gattaca, there's got to be no part of me which goes, no, that's not for you. That's not safe, or it's not challenging, or it's not rewarding, or it's not whatever it is. I've got to be able to say, cool, if you think that's the best thing for you, I know it's a great place to go and be. So yeah, we are tough on that. So our standards are high, but it's not, it won't be the sticks and stones that people throw and go, it's a PLC and it's a numbers game. I know everyone in the business, and they know me. And I make a point of delayering, as in both the actual layers, but also disarming. I will talk to everybody all the time. I'll make a point of, they have to get asking me questions early in their career, so they feel comfortable to let me know if they see something that could improve. So I don't think we are ruthless. If anything, I think we're quite nurturing, almost onto the point we haven't quite mastered on how do we help everyone be successful. Because there is a way of unlocking that. And
by the sounds of things, you probably use data to do a lot of that sort of performance piece, really, because I mean, it's black and white when it's data. Right,
commit to something, agree it, and do it. And if you don't, you're letting yourself down. I don't think I ever needed a target from any of my line managers early doors, because it would be cool. That's what you want. I want more.
But that's you though. That you're not like the majority or some of or a percentage of the recruitment sector.
Maybe not. But I think if you've got people who, we did the poll around career and job. 84% of people said I'm here for a career. I'll take that. It's pretty good for a business our size. Now, I'm sure part of that was, I know Matt's going to see it, so then I know he wants this to be a career. So let's say it's 54. But there's still a lot of people who want to be developed, who want to go on a journey. And that, if you use it in a Fergie style, the locker room should look after itself. It should be about, and I say to everyone, like, I think we're really warm and welcoming when people join. Like, really warm and welcoming. But I also kind of go, look, your team also aren't going to suffer fools. If they can see 6, 12, 18 months in, you're not making the boat go faster, they're going to start putting some pressure on you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
don't dine out in the first 6 months just because everyone's lovely. Learn your trade.
Yeah.
Build their trust, build their respect, get yourself in a cadence where actually you know that you're helping their boat go faster as well, and everything's a lot easier. And that doesn't work for everyone in our company or the whole industry.
Yeah.
But our ratios are massively improving. More and more of that.
Yeah.
We talk about building momentum over the years. Why did Match Tech ever get to the size and scale and capability it was? Year after year after year of building great momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing again now.
So, okay, well, let's talk about that because let's talk about the future. What does, I suppose there's two sides to this, and they're probably very obviously linked in your opinion. What's the future for Gattaca? And then presumably that's aligned to what you think is going to happen in the market. So you just give us your sense of what tomorrow looks like.
I have no idea what
Come on,
tomorrow
give
looks
me
like.
some- give me something here.
I know it's really it's difficult now.
It's really hard.
Who knows? And actually, there's a book called Quantum Leadership, which kind of talks about that. Around actually, it's about being really okay at managing in the volatility or managing within the volatility.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be more and more crazy is what the future will look like.
Okay.
For us, we're a listed company. Again, I have told shareholders this. I get a lot of people going, well, what are we going to look like in 5 years' time? And what's the 5-year business plan? And everyone's expecting revenue and headcount and profitability numbers. And I just say we'll be better. Like we will probably be bigger.
Yeah.
We probably will. But we'll definitely be better. And I mean that on every level. The way we hire people, train people, retain people, service our customers, look after our candidates. All of that will be better. The net result, I really don't know.
But in theory, if all those things are better, that should manifest into better contribution.
Of course it will. So yeah, we will be better. I think I think right now we will be bigger because right now we're looking both at organic and inorganic growth strategies.
Yeah.
Because I think we're ready for it. I think we're a good place again. I think we've got good leadership. We've got good corporate memory again. We've got that. We know what we're doing. We know how we do it. We know where we're going. And what we're finding is there's some really lovely small teams and businesses who have either had tough times or haven't yet seen the excitement they want to get to that we think we can make go quicker. So we will get bigger, but fundamentally better.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you said 80-20 earlier. Yeah, 80 of it will be absolutely what I think now around the sectors and the types of customers and the skill sets and services, and the 20% will be something wicked that happens along the way where we'll see some opportunities and we'll make sure we try and capitalise on that.
We were chatting before about sort of the M&A market and that type of stuff, and I find that fascinating because we spent a lot of time talking with investors and the M&A market to try and understand what's interesting. And someone said to me the other day, "Oh no, recruitment's dead. It ain't going to be the same again. It'll be dead soon." That sort of stuff. I said, "Well, that's the case. Why is everyone buying recruitment companies right now?" Because and they are. There's a lot of acquisition going on. The types of businesses that you look for. I'm not looking for specifics necessarily about this or the markets necessarily, but what do you look for in an acquisition that makes them go, actually, this is the sort of thing that's going to expedite the Gattaca journey as opposed to just another nice bolt-on sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm being really clear. I'm not looking at anything which just makes us bigger. Yeah, like if it doesn't make us better, I won't go near it. And that better is really an opaque word to use actually, isn't it? But really, what I'm talking about is a deeper level of skills capability than we've got in a certain area, a deeper service offering, which we may not be there yet, or we're still building. We think we can scale that quicker. Yeah,
is that to increase the market share you got with your customer base?
Yeah, and like increase the capability. Like contract recruitment, we've got thousands of contracts out. We know how to do that. We know how to do that really well. But we've got a whole range of product services that we are building. Some of them we're really wicked at already, and others we're still on the journey. And if I can make that so it's a 12-month journey rather than a 5-year journey, then we do it. But actually, all of it actually has come down to, it's really, hopefully just shows that not all PLCs you should throw sticks and so. For me, it's all about people. And really, I'm looking for people I can have a laugh with and I can fall out. Well, and more importantly, I can fall out with, but know we work together to fix it. And I think that I've seen us do it well over the years. I've also seen us do it really badly, and not to say there was anything wrong with the businesses that didn't work out, but the integration was awful. The direction or vision of what it was going to be was not right, and we definitely didn't spend enough time thinking about what we're going to do with this new united family. And so I spend a huge amount of time with the people, understanding who's in it, to the point of psychometric testing the people we're looking at, not just economically looking at it. So it's I'm really looking at, will this be a culture add? number one. Then it's, is it in the markets I'm trying to be famous in?
Yeah.
Number two, then it's, what's your service offering capability?
Yeah.
And then I chuck it over to the CFO to go, can we afford it?
Yeah.
Can we get to a deal? Because that's a hygiene factor. It's either going to work or not work economically, but it's a bit like client acquisition. If it feels right to everyone, you get the deal. Yeah. If it doesn't feel right to everyone, you only get it if you're cheap. Yeah. And I don't want to buy something just because someone needs the money. I want to buy it because I can help them be even better. Yeah. This is going to be my penultimate question, because I don't want to finish on this one, but I do need to ask a little bit more about AI and tech and that sort of stuff, and its role in recruitment, and how it's going to, in some parts, obliterate part of the industry, some parts expedite it, improve it. Yeah. What's your general? I don't know. I don't want to get into the AI BS type stuff. I know there is a lot of it out there, but there's a lot of good bits out there as well. Yeah. I think there'll be bits of the market that fully embrace it, and it's absolutely right for them, for the candidate, for the client, for the buying company, for the service provider, and it just works. Yeah. I've still got an embarrassingly big number of timesheets that come into me on a piece of paper. Right. And that's not because I haven't got the tool, and I haven't got a client that wants the tool. Yeah. I've got a hiring community or a candidate community that just don't want to work that way. So that comes back to that complexity. So I'm not that worried about AI in that space in the short term. But it will catch up eventually. I just think it will be better informed. I think it will help everyone to be more consultative. It will be interesting to see what it does to the competitive landscape. It could make it absolutely fair game to anyone to do anything, or it could create a economic divide of the haves and the have-nots. I think it will probably end up being pretty much like every legislation change or technology advancement that we've seen as an industry, in that we are economically motivated to all suss it out. And I think we will, because I think we are problem solvers as an industry, and it's a nice problem to be working out. This is my last point to close on this, and I think, having got to know you and seeing what you've done, what you're doing, and you aren't an archetypical PLC leader. There's not many of us left, to be fair. Well, I know, okay, fine, but you're not archetypical anyway, sort of stuff. Yeah. But I think, there is this real sense of you're well up for the challenge, and keep the fresh stuff and the new stuff and everything else and that sort of thing. Generally, are you excited by the next 5-10 year journey ahead? Yeah. I was at an event last week. It's a first. It sounds really wanky, apologies, but it's the first CEO event I've been to, external CEO event, since I became CEO. I was like, I've been so focused on getting my business to where I know it needs to be. I've now started to afford myself some time for further personal development and get myself out there. And I was chatting to someone there. I was like, I am more balanced as an individual than I've ever been in my life right now. I feel more comfortable with who I am, more motivated than I've ever been. I've never ever been challenged with lack of motivation. I've always probably been one of those really annoying people, but I feel more energetic and excited. I'm not going to say for the market, as in economy as a whole, or the country or the industry, but I am more excited now for our business than I have been for probably ever, actually. But I also feel really balanced because I can see that the business sees it. Right now bring it on. I am the sort of person that I will worry more when the markets get great, because I like the challenge, I like the adversity. So actually for me, it's playing to all my strengths of, it's unpredictable, it's a bit crazy, how can you think differently about it? If we get back to a world where it's just really safe and everything's just growing everywhere, I think at that point I should probably tap out from being CEO, because I think I'll be a terrible CEO for us then. Don't tell my shareholders and my chairman that. But actually, I'll tell them myself that, because at that point I'll end up tinkering for the sake of tinkering, absolutely, to keep myself getting in the way. And I would never want to do that for a business I love. So right now it's great, because there's so many challenges, so many different dynamics, that it keeps my very, very busy brain really fully engaged. I'm massively excited about it. We'll see how the markets evolve as to how I get the hell out of the way of my team to make sure that I don't hinder them if it gets fantastic out in the market conditions. Brilliant. Matt, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Cheers. Absolutely super. Cheers. Thanks. Excellent.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the TRN podcast. Thank you for listening. And make sure you grab the free episode toolkit. All the links are in the description. And click follow in your podcast app so you can get notified of our next episode. If you want to get more out of your business and your people, then please unlock 30 days from our platform, TRN World, for free. and help yourself through all our training content, our guides, our templates, and peer insights. You can get started at trmworld.com/trial. And finally, if you found this episode of the TRM podcast of use, please share it with your network and tag TRN on any socials with your takeaways. Otherwise, message us directly if we can help in any way. We do reply to every question. Otherwise, we'll see you next week on the next TRM podcast.